Yeah, man, it's a good view. You guys are looking good, eh?
For social media.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna start the meeting now, please. So let's behave.
Ek dink ons doen dit nog heeltyd.
Colleagues, good afternoon. Thanks for your time. As promised, we've got Emirates Lions Scrum Coach Julian Redelinghuys and Asenathi, tight head prop. We've got 10 minutes for the session, guys, and we will kickstart with whoever's got the first question. Any takers?
I'll go.
Go for it.
How are you? Coach, what do you expect? I mean, you're playing the Scarlets, if I'm right, on the weekend. What do you expect from them?
Hello, Carl. How are you doing, man?
All good, thanks.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, obviously, they've played 3 games so far this season. They had a tough tour in South Africa, and then they played Cardiff this weekend back home. And it was, you almost saw like 2 different teams. Same personnel, but they played totally different. So, yeah, obviously they're playing home this weekend again. And I think the difficult thing here is, depending on the weather, teams change their strategy quite hectic. But yeah, we can't focus on that. We just have to focus on doing what we have to. I think our focus after the first 3 games is just focusing on ourselves. So obviously you have to look at the opposition and get a strategy around them. But our main focus is sorting out the stuff that we can do better internally. And then hopefully that'll translate into whatever opposition gives us. We will be better in that department.
Can we call them vulnerable up front?
Well, I'm sitting here with my tighted prop, so we will always, I think, us as South Africans, if you have a look at the World Cup, if we look at whatever team plays against, if it's a South African team against any other foreign team, we do pride ourselves. Come scrum time, come maul time, come physicality time. So it's not different to any other game, but it's definitely an area that we look to assert dominance. Asa, stem je saam?
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Carl. Morgan, I see your hands up.
Thanks, Nisa. Asenathi and Julian. Julian, you mentioned it, touched on it now. I was wanting to ask you, you talked about the conditions changing and that. So obviously there would be probably a bit more of a step up in the focus of the scrum this week against his Welsh teams and their conditions.
Yeah, definitely. The fortunate thing about the Scarlets, they actually have a decent pitch. They call it a 4G pitch. So it's like a mix between grass and hybrid, or what do they call it, Astro or whatever it is. So it's actually the conditions are lacquer to scrum off. Like this weekend in Italy, I'm not sure if you guys were paying attention to that specifically, but the grass gives way when you give too much pressure. So it is. We're looking forward to scrumming on a steady, firm pitch, and that obviously gives us, if we are able to dominate, it gives us the opportunity to dominate.
Asenathi, just to follow up to that, Julian mentioned the 4G pitches and that. As a playing tight head, is there a very big difference in the technique that you guys implement to try and compensate for that grip in the surface?
I wouldn't say it's a big difference. I just think it's us adjusting to the pitches. Obviously, last week you saw in Italy, it was quite similar. What we have in South Africa is more grass than anything, and this weekend is quite different as well. I just think us being the pack that we are, I think we like to focus on ourselves and our system as well. So whatever comes ahead of us, we like to deal with it.
Thanks, Morgan. Next question, guys. Ross?
Thanks, Jenny. So how's it, guys? Julian, it's now 3 games lost on the bounce. All of them were extremely tight. You guys had the chance to win each one, but getting that loss, does that now add a bit of pressure to you guys? And how important does it now make the Scarlets game?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ross. And obviously, yes, we saw what 1 point does. If we look at the Springboks in the World Cup, they won the quarterfinal by 1 point, semi-final 1 point, final 1 point. So we've been on the other side of that, and the margins are so small. And I think for us, I can't question the guys' desperateness to win a game. We can't question the guys' work rate or intent and dominating physically. I think for us just to sharpen up and get better clarity as to what we need to do at what times in the game or at this level, and especially like touring overseas, the teams here, you have to be on point on the weekend to get that W, even if it is by 1 point. We've seen like the Stormers lost, the Sharks lost, we lost this weekend on tour, and we, I think all of us, it's like just the margins in this game is 1 or 2 moments in the game can be the difference between you winning by 7 points or losing by 1 point or winning by 1 point. And I think we just need to get those moments, need to be a little bit better, in our opinion.
And Asenathi, from the players' point of view, you guys have managed to get good dominance in, the opposing 22s and then have slipped up. And, even at the end of the game against Benetton, you guys went from your own 22 almost to on their 22 before the knock-on came. So what is it that from the players' side you guys need to sort of like sharpen up on and just improve to get over the line there and get those points that you so desperately need to change the game?
Yeah, I think for us it's been a big area of focus for the past 2 weeks. As we call it, the goal zone injuries. I think we had about, I'm not sure if I'm not mistaken, I think 7 or so, and we only got 10 points out of it. So for us, that's not good enough as players. So we look at ourselves and there's something to work on towards this week. To be granted so many opportunities in the opposition's 22, we have to find a way to capitalize, and I'm sure the boys will definitely find a way to do that.
From the 10 points, I also got 5 points for the goals.
Thanks for those questions, Ross. Any other questions, guys?
Can
I
I go?
ask? What different stats do you use on a field like the one you're playing on Saturday?
This one will obviously. I think we did the last play here 2 years ago, so I think we can use more sharp ones. We call them the 18 sort of forwards. It all differs. There are sharp ones that are 21s and sharp ones that are 18s as well. And I think because these pitches don't give in as much, so it doesn't really make a huge of a difference. But I think to be on the safe side as a tight end, probably 21s that I'll go to. So.
Always 21s. But I think the good point that Asa's making on these synthetic pitches, the thinner studs almost goes in better, whereas on the grass pitches you play with
thick ones,
thicker stud. Yeah.
Hope that answers your question there, Sarel. Carl, were you next?
Please.
Yes, go for it.
Asenathi, we all know that you've got Springbok aspirations and everything, and you looked at the performance or the scrumming performance of Ox and the like there. Where do you think you must still improve or adapt your game to be on that level?
For me, obviously, every week is all about getting better and better. I mean, I've got obviously the guardians of Julian next to me that we can be hard on me as well, which is a very good thing for me. I think you never learn if you always get the pat on the back. You need to you also need to learn by people showing you tough love. But I think for me it's something that I can improve on. I think our scrums have been good. I think we can still take a step up there. And as a tight head forward, as a tight head prop, I take great pride in that. And I think that's something I can still work on.
Who wins if you back up against Julian?
No, you definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Carl. Any other questions, guys? Yes, Percy. Percy, we can go with Percy, and then Sarel's got a question about the weather.
Ja, nee, so baie dankie vir die geleentheid. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Jammer dat ek so laat begin het. Sorry, gents, I want to ask Julian a question in Afrikaans if possible.
That's fine.
Thank you
Yes,
so
jy
much.
praat
Thank
met
you, sir.
Percy.
Asenathi too, he's also comfortable.
Hy praat lekker Afrikaans.
Is lekker, is reg, meneer. Coach Julian, kan ek vinnig vra, en ek wil nie 'n partypoeper wees nie, maar in hierdie kompetisie, nee, ongelukkig moet ek nou kyk na 'n punteleer. En julle is nie lekker geplaas op die punteleer op die oomblik so vroeg in die kompetisie nie. Net 3 wedstryde in hierdie kompetisie nie. En die realiteit is na 3 rondes speel julle al reeds catching up. Ek kyk toevallig na julle landgenote, die Sharks, hulle staan laaste op die punteleer. Maar die luukse wat hulle het is dat hulle kan oor 'n maand of wat kan hulle versterkings kry. Het julle daai luukse as julle bekommerd dat julle tans catching up speel in die kompetisie alreeds?
Ja, dis 'n goeie vraag, Percy. En obviously is nou 3 games in van ek dink ons speel 17 games in die seisoen. So dit is nog vroeg en ons het begin Stormers, Edinburgh, Benetton wat almal redelike sterk spanne is en as jy dink aan die Sharks, hulle kry nou hulle bokke terug, maar hulle het begin Munster, Leinster, Glasgow. Dis tabbe nee, nie Glasgow. Dit was al laaste game. Ospreys. So hulle het ook 'n tabbe begin gehad. Maar jy's reg, ons en wat ons nou al gesê het, Percy, is ons voel ons kon in die Stormers game kon ons 'n paar meer punte gekry het. Ons voel ons kon in die Benetton game 'n paar meer punte. Ons voel ons was naby in Edinburgh om ook 'n paar punte te kry. Nou soos jy sê, kan 'n ou voel jy speel catch-up, maar ek dink vir ons is die groot ding net is om ons sien ons nou die prentjies wat ons moet op verbeter en dan is dit vir ons om daai verbetering aan te werk en dan kry ons hopelik 'n beter produk die naweek wat kom. En ons het nou wat lekker is van sport ook is die volgende naweek is 'n volgende kans. So die Scarlets is vir ons 'n belangrike game, maar ek dink die oomblik as ons gaan begin kyk na die log as jy speel om nie te verloor nie, dan gaan jy in die moeilikheid raak. As jy speel om te wen, is dit 'n bietjie ander mindset as jy hoor wat ek sê. So ja, is 'n goeie vraag van jou kant af, maar ek dink ons speel om onsself te verbeter, ons speel om te wen en hopelik kan ons die naweek die goed wat ons voel ons moet regkry, kan ons dit beter regkry. Ek hoop my Afrikaans is okay gewees op. Anders gaan my skoonmamma.
Asenathi, do you read the Afrikaans?
I can answer you in English.
No, sorry. Let me ask you in English. So, is that the same mindset that you guys have played as players have? As much as it's only 3 games into the competition, it is fair to say you guys are already playing a bit of catching up. But are you guys confident you guys can still turn it around though?
Yeah, we're very confident. Look, if you look at this past 3 games, I think we lost against Stormers. I think 2 points, 3 points,
1 point.
1 point. So it's a game of margins. I think if you look back at those games, I think of those games we could have been 3 out of 3. Now it's the other way around. It's just a small games of margin. I think we have a huge belief that we can turn it around. I mean, this weekend is another great opportunity for us to go out there and try to get a results. But I think the boys are fully confident. I wouldn't say we've put Benetton behind us yet, as we're still reviewing and looking out on what we did wrong, and so that we can move forward into this weekend's game.
Thanks, Percy.
Julian,
Okay.
sorry, apologies,
Yes.
Can I just ask
No
you,
problem.
Julian, net 'n bietjie van 'n woord oor die nuwe aanwinste of nie aanwinste nie. Die spelers wat julle opgeroep het om saam by julle aan te sluit. Wat bring hulle vir julle en wat verloor julle in die beserings wat julle gehad het die naweek?
Ja, ek dink jy praat van die ouens wat ons op toer join. Percy?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
Ron and JP.
Ja, so obviously dit is hartseer vir ons om vir Morgan te verloor. Dit is die tweede keer wat hy start en dan al 2 kere wat hy begin het hy seer gekry. So dis hartseer en obviously vir die hele span is dit hartseer om ou soos hy te verloor en dan derde een wat ons 5 slot was wat die lyn van ons yster gehardloop by die laaste 3 naweke wat ook nou beseer is. So dit is ook kritiese posisies veral in jou vaste 5. Maar die ouens wat inkom, manne en julle almal weet, is rugby is maar 'n game van geleentheid. As jy nou seer kry, dit is hartseer vir hom en ons voel vir hom en ons is jammer, maar die volgende ou wat inkom kry kans en JP Smith is 'n ervare speler wat inkom. Roan Australië is 'n speler wat baie veelsidig is wat inkom en ja, en dan hopelik gebruik die man hulle geleentheid of die manne wat nou 'n kans kry om te begin in daai in se plek kry nou 'n geleentheid en dan is dit hulle verantwoordelikheid om daai step op te maak en ja, hierdie kompetisie wat so lank is, dit vat regtig 'n squad om die kompetisie te vat en dit gaan nie net oor die individu nie, maar die squad met mekaar komplementeer en saam as 'n span vat uit die ding vorentoe.
Thank you so much, Nisa. Thank you, Gemini.
Thanks, Percy. Guys, we'll take 2 more. Ross, you'll take the second last question.
Thanks. Julian, I know that you guys don't underestimate any opposition, but would you say that this game is one that you guys are targeting, to try get a full house of points? Obviously, you guys finished the tour with a very tough game against Ulster, and then you'll obviously be looking to target, your home games against Zebra and Dragons to get some good momentum going into December. So do you think that this is a game that you guys are targeting to get a big win from, and then hopefully, take that momentum into Ulster before heading back home?
Yeah, well, it would be great, Ross, if we can get a good result this weekend and then play with confidence against Ulster. No one's unbeatable in this competition, but like you said, it is really tough. We were there 2 years ago, and it is tough. But just I think what I like about our team at the moment is the guys almost like step up better when it's tough. So, yeah. But to answer your question shortly, is I think this is a game where we feel we can build momentum with this game. We feel that we need a good performance to start getting that momentum. We feel it in the team. We feel we're close, but we need a game to push us over. So, yeah, whoever would have been next, this is a good game to get that, almost like getting on the right side of the things.
Thank you, Ross. And then Carl, you'll take the final question before we release the guys.
Thank you. Julian, it is said that the South African teams doesn't fare well in Europe. But however, last weekend it was only the Vodacom Bulls that won an away game. Do you think it's South African teams, or do you think it's just difficult to win away? And why do we?
That's a great question, Carl. And I think if we look at South African teams' performances overseas, we haven't done well, to be honest. I think that the first URC competition, all of us traveled the first 4 weeks, and I think there was maybe 1 or 2 victories out of the 12 games that we played. And like all the games that we have been played in South African teams, we haven't done well there. But then, like you said, the converse is also true. When they come to us, they also tend to struggle more than what they do. So we find playing a team home versus playing them by us, there is a big difference. It's different to Super Rugby. It was a little bit closer. The gaps felt a little bit closer. But the URC, it almost like feels like the gap's bigger. I think it's also because a lot of the SA teams are missing their players when we're traveling, or the SA players, and a lot of the European teams are missing their international players when they're traveling. So I think that also plays a little bit of a part.
Great stuff.
Fantastic. Thank you, Carl. Colleagues, thank you very much for your time. Jules, Asa, thanks, gents, and all the best for Saturday.
Dankie manne, lekker dag julle hoor.
Thanks guys, have a good one.
Bye bye.
Sterkte.